Okay, whenever you're ready.
Jeremy?
Jeremy, yeah.
Jeremy, you kick it off.
Brandon, first I'm going to ask about the stash. What's behind the stash?
I don't know. I just had to switch it up a little bit. Bring some excitement.
Just want to ask, Tony Peterson, obviously bringing a new kind of offense. What's been the biggest change, or what's been the experience so far?
Yeah, Coach Peterson is a guy that's, he's really attention to detail oriented kind of guy. He brings juice, and he's going to let you know when you mess up. So I think the biggest thing transitioning to Coach Peterson is his attention to detail. Taking care of the football and not turning it over. He really brings that to light for us quarterbacks.
And Brandon, he's talked a lot about asking for more out of you vocally. What were those conversations like with him, and how have you kind of approached that?
Yeah, going into camp, he kind of went back to his recent years at Marshall. Chad Pennington is a guy he brought up to me, and how vocal he was as a quarterback. And, he was just kind of explaining to me, you can't expect to be a successful quarterback and not be vocal. In these off-season workouts and through the spring ball, he's really pushed me, to bring a little bit more vocalism out of me. So, so far it's going good, but, I still have, steps to go.
Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Brandon, what's the quarterback battle been thus far in camp? What's it been like?
Yeah, me and Isaiah, Matt, and all those guys, we're taking the reps as we get them. They've been pretty even so far between me and Isaiah. Getting the 1s and the 2 reps is pretty much even split up. But your reps are limited throughout practice, so you got to make the best of them. And I think as far as personally for me, I've done what I could with my reps, and Isaiah has really improved as well throughout this camp. So, iron sharpens iron. We're both getting really good, getting really good coaching. So, sky's the limit.
Thanks, Brandon.
Hey, Brandon, I'm curious about your comfort level being under center. Probably been a while since you've done a lot of that and play action, play fakes, things like that. How are you adjusting to some of those things?
Yeah, definitely. For me, it really wasn't anything new or something I had to get used to, because I did some in high school and also at Michigan. My 3 years at Michigan, we did, especially my first year, my freshman and redshirt freshman year, we did a lot of under center stuff. So for me, I just had to knock the rust off a little bit, but I really haven't had any problems with that.
Would you say you're more comfortable in a shotgun, just surveying the field as you take the snap, or are you comfortable in an offense that maybe have you under center sometimes?
Yeah, I like an offense that kind of mixes it up a little bit, because when you're just in shotgun all the time, I feel like, there's not a lot of things that you can do. So when you get under center a little bit, it opens up the playbook. You can do a little bit more play action, a little bit more things with the ball to hide it from the defense. So, from my perspective, it kind of helps me as a quarterback, playing the quarterback position, to keep the defense on their toes.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Brandon, hope you're doing well. Tony Peterson has kind of a track record a little bit of guys who he got, senior year, in your case, super senior year, who he's helped get pretty big seasons out of them for 1 or 2 years. How quickly did you look into that? What have your conversations been like with him? Like, are there parallels that you can draw between, I know you mentioned Chad Pennington or some of these other guys that he's been in a similar situation with?
Yeah. He mentioned I can't remember his name. He was a Florida, was it Driscoll?
Jeff Driscoll, yeah.
Transferred, at La Tech. He's kind of brought his name up to me a few times, kind of like comparing the situation with him to me. So, he got him for 1 year, and I'm pretty sure he's still in the league right now. So, I mean, he's definitely done some good things as far as developing quarterbacks and, making them transition into the league pretty well. So, I'm really excited to see where this goes. I think he's a great coach. I think he's a great teacher. And I also think he's a great motivator and someone that you can talk to as well. So I'm really excited for it.
Is there anything you can point to and say, okay, I think maybe this is why? I mean, I know you don't know like the previous parts to some of those other guys, but where you can say, okay, maybe this is why he's had success with guys as a senior. I mean, have you been able to identify possible common threads?
I don't know, but as what I could say about Coach Peterson is, like I said early on, he's really attention to detail kind of guy. And experience does help when it comes to Coach Peterson's offense because he likes to move through a little quicker. He teaches it one time, and if you make a mistake once, he expects you to get it right the second time. So I mean, I guess a little bit of experience does help. But again, like I said, he's a great teacher. He's going to coach you through it, and he's not really the type of guy that's going to sit there and scream and yell at you. But he expects you to do it right.
And if I could get one more with regards to being more vocal, like this mechanics you can practice, right? Like you can throw a ball however many times, but like, how do you practice maybe bringing that more out of you? Is there anything you can do?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely something you can practice. But I mean, I think it's more something that's inside of you. How bad do you really want it? How bad do you want to be great? How bad do you want to win? That kind of mentality. And when other people see that, they kind of latch on, especially at the quarterback position. That's what you need. Your teammates will feed off of that. So I think the biggest thing for me is just, I think I've done a better job of it over the years, but just coming out of my shell a little bit more, taking advantage of those situations when they're in practice so that they carry over to the game.
Appreciate it, Brandon. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon, correct me if I'm wrong, but I have you down for this is your fourth scheme that you've had to learn. Is that right? Since you've entered college, is it 4 or 5?
2, 3, 4, 5.
5. So when you sit down and you're learning your 5th scheme in college, do you have to wipe your mind clean, or can you go back and go, okay, I know this because of what I learned back when? What's the balancing act there?
Yeah, you can. So you can definitely, use that memory bank for what you've learned in the past. I would say taking the reads, some of the reads are very similar to, different playbooks, whatnot. I'd say the biggest difference is verbiage, alignment, shifts, motions, that kind of stuff. That's the biggest part is getting those down. And once you get those down, start learning the concepts and stuff, you can start connecting it to what you've learned in the past.
Thanks, Brandon. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hey, Brandon. Excuse me. Hey, Brandon. Good to see you. Excuse me. Sorry about that. As far as trying to prove yourself maybe to a new staff, I know we're talking about this being more vocal, but just overall, considering how often you played under Lovie Smith's staff, what was your approach coming in here to trying to prove yourself to Coach Bielema and his staff?
Yeah. So, when I talked to Coach B on the phone before he knew that I wanted to come back, I just told him, I just need a chance, Coach. I just need a chance to prove myself. I've always believed in myself and my abilities. So I've never questioned that in any moment. So for me, I just wanted to come in here and do the best I could do. And the biggest thing coming into spring ball for me was just execute the offense. And I think I've done a pretty good job of that so far. But, there's still a lot more I need to build on.
And we're talking about the vocal side again, but from a mechanics perspective, I asked Isaiah about something that was brought up to us it was either Coach Peterson or Coach Bielema about kind of a small hitch in Isaiah's throw. Is there anything from a mechanical perspective that you've really been working on with this new staff that they've brought up to you at all?
Yeah, one thing that Coach Peterson brought to light to me was sometimes he calls it the inverted C or whatever, but sometimes I get a little bit off balance in my posture a little bit, which makes me a little inaccurate. So when I'm following through, I sometimes like lean back, like lean to the left a little bit instead of staying just upright. And also with my left foot, sometimes I don't point it directly at the target, but like a little bit left of it, which also makes me a little inaccurate. So, little things like that things that you got to be thinking about every individual period, even just warming up. So, yeah, they've definitely seen the little things.
Thanks, Brandon.
Yep.
Hey, Brandon, good to see you again. You had such a messed up last year in terms of being sick and all this stuff. Are you glad to have a mulligan? Glad to have a do-over? Oh
yeah, no doubt. I'm really blessed to have another year to play football because who knows what my career would have been to if I didn't have this another year of football to play. So I'm really excited with what Coach B is putting together here. It's been really fun so far. So I think the sky's the limit with this staff, and it seems like all the players are loving it too. So I can't speak for them, but just the vibe around the building, it just seems a lot better.
How would it have felt to end with last year? To go out with that kind of year and all the things that happened. How would that have felt for you? Pretty unsatisfying, I assume.
Yeah, that last year definitely left a bad taste in my mouth. It definitely wasn't the year I was hoping for. Anyone expected, especially for me personally. But everything happens for a reason. I believe that, and I've been blessed with another chance and a new staff to prove myself once again. So, yeah.
And as this spring, last thing is this spring confirmed your thought about doing this. Are you happier after seeing how things will work about your decision to come back?
Yeah, I'm super happy with it. It's been really fun with Coach B. He's made it really fun. Coach Tank has made it fun in the weight room. Guys are getting a lot better, from the mental side to the fundamental side. So, yeah, again, I'm really excited. The guys are getting really good coaching. They're buying in, and I'm really excited for what's to come.
Thanks, Brandon. Great talking to you guys.
Yeah.
Brandon, I just had a quick follow-up. How often, or if ever, do you go back to thinking like, okay, I have another year, I have another chance? You talked about like the little things like your foot and the C on your hand. Like, do you zone in more on those things just because like this other chance is, I think we all hope once in a lifetime, but like, is that fool you at all?
Yeah, are you thinking like, sorry, can you like rephrase the question?
I just like, how often do you go back and think like, man, I have another shot at this, like another shot at my last year? Is it something that's on your mind frequently? Does it push you day to day, or is it like, okay, I've got it now, I'm just gonna move forward?
Yeah, it's definitely something that's on my mind. It's my last shot for sure. Hopefully, because I really don't want to do a seventh year, but 7 years in college, man, I'm done with the academic stuff, and I'm going to finish it out strong. But 6 years is enough for me. But no, thinking about this being your last year, you got to buy in, buy all into, whatever you're being taught. And for me, it's definitely about the little things, because from the playbook wise to the fundamental wise, I've got most of it down, but when you're thinking about the grand scheme of things, what little things can I work on, to maybe get the ball 1 yard more accurate so the defender doesn't get his hand on it. And that's shown up in practice a little bit because I have my foot just a little bit inside, or I'm tilting just a little bit. So, if I can clean, just the little things up one by one, it can mean that much more.
Appreciate it, Brandon. Thank you.
Yeah.
Brent, I just want to ask you real quick about Isaiah. I know he's your competitor, but you've had 2 years in a quarterback room with him, and it feels like, he's had to prove himself as a quarterback at every level. What have you seen from him, and what have you learned about him through 2 years?
He's a super hard worker. He's a very coachable kid, and he listens. He takes good notes. He transitions things from what we learn in drills to what we do in the scrimmage. So, and he's a great teammate as well. He's a really good kid. I think Isaiah is going to be a great player. But again, just like me, he's got little things he's got to work on, and he does it every single day. And like I said, iron sharpens iron. He pushes me every day. I push him every day. But I think Isaiah is going to be a hell of a player, and he's definitely going to be an older guy that guys look up to on this team.
Thanks, Brent. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Quickly, Brandon, do you have any plans to go work with somebody privately this summer, like you did last summer?
Yeah, I think in early May, I'm going to go out to Arizona again and have 3 or 4 days with Kurt Warner.
When you do that, do you know, say it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, what you're going to be doing, or do you kind of like to just show up and have them kind of mold you as that kind of work? Is there a plan there once you arrive, or do they kind of run you through what they want to run you through?
It's kind of a communication effort. What are your weaknesses? Communication, what do you need to work on? What's going to make you a better player? And then also just learning from, a guy that's done at a very high level, and, what has made him successful, and kind of pick and choose the small details that I want to incorporate in my game, that kind of thing. But I wouldn't say there's a defined written out outline of what we're going to do, but, definitely get some work in.
Thanks, Brandon.
That's all good.